Alright, so welcome back to Alternate Future of the World. And, yeah, we saw, in the last episode, we saw the war break out in Africa. And I'm sorry that there wasn't a video last Saturday, but this is coming out on Friday, and there will be another one of these tomorrow, just to, get caught up and just, yeah. Anyways, quick recap, the war started, that's all I can remember. Today I made the Suez, a little more, that added these lakes, added these lakes. That's pretty much it, though, so. Yeah, anyways, let's jump straight into this war. As rapidly we see the West African forces make the push into northern Sudan, trying to just take as much land as possible, as quick as possible. But Sudanese forces are able to make a massive push from down here. And yes, this is kind of World War IV, or the Great Battle of Africa. But while we see Algeria distracted in Africa, we see three nations launch their own respective attacks. Italy and Spain. Oh yeah, and Morocco. As these three all join to break away, Spain wants their Iberian land back, Italy wants their islands back, and Morocco wants their land back. As since Algeria is focused somewhere else, they do have the slight advantage, as yes, Morocco, Spain, and Italy are way weaker than they were, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna win. As we see the entrance into the Mediterranean looks something like this now, as Spanish and Moroccan forces are able to take it for themselves. While Italy makes a naval landing on Sardinia, we see Algeria losing the front to the north. But we're going to be seeing Sierra Leone join this war. The reasoning is they just don't. This nation was pressuring them to join, the war on their side, and then after the war join their union. But Sierra Leone didn't want to join the union. They never did, but they're being pressured so much that they see this to be the perfect opportunity to attack. As yes, they're really not strong, but they're way stronger than Liberia at this point. But yeah, coming down here, we see DR Congan forces make a push right here, but we do see them losing some ground right here, but they do win right here. As let's go to South America. As Venezuela, even though they are not too strong, they have been building up a lot. So they see the time to launch an attack on Trinidad and Tobago. As they launch an attack on the small country, and they take it over. And then they go after the next country, being the Barbados, which falls. And yeah, that's the end of their little expansion. They just took over 2 islands. But actually they took over 3. But yeah, coming over here, we're gonna see another war. And it's between French Guiana, or what used to be French Guiana, and this country. As French Guiana wanted control over, this area, just so they can have an easy way to transport and trade, as there's a massive port city right here. It's just not big enough to be a major city. As they are able to take the port city, and yes, this was built after, so, after the series started, so, yeah. Then we see this happening, and French Guiana actually destroys this country. And, I think they're one state, so, yeah. It's not going to be a full annexation, but it's going to look something like this. As we see French Guiana getting these two areas, while they spare mercy to the rest of the country, making like a little triangle. Look like they're eating them, like Pac-Man. But one last event in the Americas, we see America going through a massive civil war. As the people didn't like how quickly they expanded, as, yeah. And plus, they gained so much land so quickly that some of the new areas that have never been part of the United States don't really like the fact that, you know, they're part of the states now. Mostly British Columbia, which is going to be where the rebellions surface, as they just don't like the fact of being part of America. As these areas break away, same with Baja California and some parts of Mexico. Now it's a third American Civil War. And Quebec launches an attack on America at the same time. How wonderful. The circumstances are beautiful for America. Yes, America is really strong, it's just, yeah. And we do see Hawaii also breaking away, which just makes this worse for America. As we rapidly see Quebec forces push into Montreal, as they take the city and begin to destroy American forces. As Quebec has been preparing for this, and a little hint, they may have funded the rebels. But yes, British Columbia, nuclear radiation left over. What? That's a surprise. But yeah, we see British Columbia destroying America's northern sector, and coming down here, we actually see Baja California becoming just this, as America is able to retake Vancouver, but it's just they don't want to keep fighting. Yes, they only fought for like a year at this point, but they just feel so weak, and the people are very unhappy that they're still fighting, even though they've only been fighting for a year. As the American people say that World War III was just a couple months ago, why do we need to keep fighting? So yeah, we see Hawaii getting independence, and we see, let's actually make a new city, because why not? As we actually see British Columbia also getting independence. As yes, they're going to be gaining parts of Alaska, and they're going to be losing some of their land south. So they boom, they look something like this, and then a little curve up there, and this. As their border with America, they lost this, and then a slight curve up. So America is still technically. Oh wait, those. Wait, what? No, this is no. Dang it! It's just beautiful. All right. Anyways, speed run. No. Boom. Bam. Bop. Pow. There we go. Perfect. As this is what British Columbia looks like, as they do get a new name, but just simpler to call them British Columbia. And, yeah. America has gained more than they lost. So they still have two cities, like Vancouver and... I don't know what this city's called. But they did lose Alaska's official capital city. But it's okay, because they still have pretty much all the natural resources up here. See what Quebec gets, though. As Quebec is going to get a surprising chunk of land, getting parts of Maine, which is the surprising part, And they also do get Montreal. So, yeah, Quebec is really happy, as they did gain part of official America. Hawaii did get independence, and it's only southern Baja California that gets independence. So America is weaker, but it doesn't mean they're, like, way weaker to where they were before World War III. Anyways, let's jump back to Africa, where we're going to be seeing Italy have success over here, even taking these islands for Spain, which, after the war, if they win, Spain is promised to give Italy this island in compensation. But the Spanish are able to take back all of their land. But, yeah, I'm sorry to say this, Morocco, but they're just not strong enough. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that, these islands down here are independent, so, yeah. But we do see Western Sahara join the war. Nothing really changes, it's just they're part of the war now. But coming back over to Africa, we're going to be seeing the Red Team get 2 new allies. Being Namibia, this country, did I say 2? I meant 3. And Eritrea. So these 3, they're not really the strongest, it's just they don't like the DR Congo and Sudan, so. But let's do one quick little area over here as we see Saudi Arabian forces invade Kuwait. Yes, I know they've been chill, but yeah, it's just times are changing, you know? Full annexation. And plus, it's mostly because Kuwait didn't want to join Saudi Arabia, so yeah. And now, if Arabia asks if anyone wants to unite, or you're gonna die. And one last detour. We're gonna be seeing Uzbekistan. Oh wait. Oh yeah, I forgot about alliances. Nothing happened. Yeah, I forgot alliances exist. So wonderful. Am I right, guys? Oh yeah, Quebec. Let's just pretend like I knew this, and Russia just didn't care enough about America to intervene. Anyways, I completely forgot those exist, so that's really embarrassing. As we see this happening, sorry, I just had to readjust my mic. But yeah, we see the Mediterranean just being in a stalemate. Malta declares independence, so let's just do this to show that they have declared independence. But we are going to be seeing 2 new countries join, Egypt and Libya. Both these countries wanted to be in this war since the start. Libya wants all of their historical land back, and Egypt likes Sudan. As I think they do. I'm not sure, just they don't like Algeria. As you could tell, I do not watch my series. As we see Egyptian and Sudanian forces being able to kick back the West African Union forces over here, but at a cost, as they do lose some pretty massive chunks of land over here. But again, at a cost, as over there, we see Tripoli getting encircled. As Algeria wasn't really expecting Libya to join, as Libya is really weak in this timeline. But no, with Egyptian and Sudanian forces flooding in, they're not too weak. Sierra Leone is able to take the capital of Liberia, and they are able to hold a decent front line, taking the city, and where they begin to make a front line around this point, just digging in and hoping that nothing bad happens. Oh, this country, they're in the perfect spot to get invaded. But they're stuck in a dilemma. It's either join one side, get attacked by the other. But if they do join the blue team, they do see a economical benefit by getting more cities and more economic benefit. But yes, they would gain coastline down here, but they already have enough coastline. And the DR Congo said if you join our side, we'll give you half of Liberia and all of Nigeria's land, which they did lose a lot. Also, the rest of Cameroon's and Benin's. So, with that, they join the blue team. Liberia is forced to switch sides, and rapidly the Guinea forces push in and they take Abuja, and then they reach Lake Chad. As with this, the tide of war instantly changes, as with 3 million new forces on the blue team's front line, we see a massive pushback. As Sudan can focus on Eritrea now, which they do, and after around a year of this country joining, the tide of war has completely changed, with this being what the world looks like, or Africa looks like. And these two, no one really cares. So they're able to take all this, but yeah, they lose more than they take. And this country does leave, so yeah, with this, the war is coming to its climax. But it's not at its climax yet, as we see the East African Federation and these three all joining. As actually, the Horn of African or the East African Coalition forms, as this is what the East African Coalition looks like. Actually, I'm not saying actually, but they're not on either side. They don't want either side to win. They don't want either side to win, actually. They don't want any power to win, as whoever wins would have control over Africa, and they could pick on these smaller countries. And Angola also joins this. And then we see Israel declaring war on Egypt, seeing that there's a possibility that the tide of war can change. And then Austria declares war on Italy, which is a massive surprise because they're both in the same alliance. But land is land, game is game. As Austrian forces make a push. I don't know. But yeah, they make a push into Italy, which causes massive shock in Italy. But even with the East African Coalition forming, Algeria is just cooked. And so is this country. So, yeah. Morocco is able to get reliberated and take all of their land that they ever wanted. Italian, Libyan, and Egyptian forces flood into this area, trying to take Algiers before the other to get control over this treaty. But on the same day, 2 hours apart, they both start sieging the capital from both sides. The capital falls on the same day, as Algeria is forced to capitulate. And then, with Algeria, the second strongest country in this war, we see the strongest country in this war falling. Italy is able to kick out Austria and obliterate it. And now, this is the climax. As Algerian forces DR Congan forces, do flood into Libya, as they did kind of expect that Libya would join this coalition. But yeah, the red team just completely surrenders. as these are the ports that are able to get unoccupied before they surrender. So, then, but we see this massive coalition, yeah, let's actually make you green, so it just looks better. There we go. It just looks better against purple, in my opinion. But yeah, the purple coalition is able to do massive damage, reliberating all of Ethiopia, and massive chunks of every country. As these two are completely, and utterly sick of this war, but Sudan says that they will not leave this war without having all of their land. As we see Sudanese forces giving it their all, as this causes so many casualties, but it works. It is very gruesome, as hundreds of sloppy forces, that are completely tired. They've fought in the Sahara Desert for over a decade. And now they're fighting over here in the highlands of Ethiopia. They're sick of fighting, but they decide to fight for what they believe, and what they believe is their country. And the DR Congo is also able to push into this country, as we see the war coming to its end on March 15th, 2100. As this is what the end of the occupation zones look like, as the blue team rapidly won. It was very gruesome. It did cost lives. So many lives that Africa can physically never recover from, as the Great Battle of Africa is over, as Israel finds no success in making naval landing over here. That's going to be it for this Great War, but let's do one last event. As coming over here to Bangladesh, Chinese forces launch a naval attack on Bangladesh and Sri Lanka to show India that they are way stronger. But India was preparing for this. And the same day, an hour before, once India saw warships, we see that Sri Lanka is given the order to join the alliance. And this is kind of a douchebag move, as India, for some reason, really just wanted war with China. As Sri Lanka joins India's alliance the same day China launches an attack. So, let's take a look at the sides. So, technically, the orange team will become blue, and the yellow team will become yellow. Welcome to the Great War, everybody. As this Great War will never be able to recover from. World War IV is the war... The war of continuation, as it happened just months after this war in Africa, and it's starting again. So these will be the next 2 episodes will be just more fighting and more war and expansion to the war. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you did enjoy, you should probably like and subscribe. And the War of Africa is finally over.